Once you've decided on a type of graph to use, it's time to use your data to make your graph. As you probably noticed, we are comparing two different categories of data here. Plants with one adaptation and plants with a different adaptation. And we want to see how the number of caterpillars with attack marks is different between those two categories of plants. So a bar graph will be the best to show that difference. To create our graphs, we can actually go back to SageModeler, the same platform we used to create our models back in session 3. We can enter our data into SageModeler, create a graph of our data, and compare it with the model that we made to see if our initial ideas matched what we actually found. So to start making your graph in SageModeler, you will first want to enter in the data from the table that you just created in your science journals. So under plant adaptation, you're going to put in the two types of plants you investigated. For me, it was big leaves and small leaves, and the number of caterpillars attacked on each of those types. From here, creating a graph is pretty simple. You'll click on the graph icon on the upper right-hand side of the screen, and you can move it around as needed. And then we just drag and drop the attributes from our table into the graph. So in science, we always want to put the factor that we are manipulating on the x-axis or horizontal axis. In this case, it would be the plant adaptation, since you selected the two adaptations to compare. This is what we call our independent variable, because it's the thing we controlled or changed in our experiment. So drag the independent variable, plant adaptation, into the x-axis here. Next, we want to add our dependent variable. This is the factor that we measured to compare the impact of our independent variable. So in this case, it's going to be the number of caterpillars with attack marks. So go ahead and drag number of caterpillars attacked into the y-axis. Have that too far over the screen. Let's try that again. There we go. Now you can see our data points plotted on the graph, and we can see which one is higher than the other. To make the trend a little more clear, let's change the graph type to a bar graph. So right here, you can select bar for each point. You can see more clearly which is higher than the other, or which adaptation led to the highest number of attack marks. So last but not least, let's make sure we add a descriptive title so someone who reads the graph knows what it is telling us. I'm going to call this bird attack marks on big leaves versus small leaved plants. Once you've created your graph, don't forget to save your graph for future use. Right here is save. You can save it to your Google Drive or onto your computer. Go ahead and open up the SageModeler link with this template and work with your teammates to create a graph of your data.